Hello Block Party Knitters, this is Lisa with Old Orchid Yarnery, and I'm here today to show you the pattern for our November knitted block for Block Party. This month we are going to do a traditional feather and fan lace pattern. As you can see, it's got a really nice kind of, not quite chevron because they're smooth at the top and the bottom, but kind of a wave going across with the open stitches. I think you'll like it. So let's get started. To begin with, I'm using my regular Sueño merino bamboo yarn blend that I've been using. It's a DK weight, and I've been using size 8 needles. My squares have been blocking out to about 9 inches. I'm going to tell you though that this one came out a little small. It's 8 inches, so I'm going to tell you the repeats and the cast on numbers that I did. You may want to do an extra repeat. If so, then you'll have 4 repeats of the lace going across instead of just 3 like I did. That is up to you. So let's get started. First thing you're going to do is you're going to cast on a multiple of 12 plus 6 stitches. So the 12, every pattern repeat is 12 stitches, and then you've got 3 on each side, so that's the 6. I originally cast on 41, which was 36 plus 6. You might want to cast on 12 more than that, so you might want to go 53. And then you'll get 48 plus 6, so you'll have 4 repeats going across. But that is up to you depending on the size that your other squares have been. So I've already started here with my little sample because, and this is smaller of course just for sample purposes, but what I've done is I've cast on my stitches. In this case I cast on 30, and then you're just going to knit 3 rows because we need a garter border at the end. Let me explain that for just a minute. The feather and fan pattern, if you don't do a bit of a border at the end, and you can see it pulling up a little bit, but if you just went straight into the pattern, you would have a very ripply edge at the bottom of your square. And for our purposes, I wanted it to be a little bit more straight. So I went ahead and put this garter border and then a few rows of stockinette before I started the lace pattern so that it wouldn't be quite as pronounced of a wave at the edge of the block. So that's why. So you're going to cast on your number of stitches. And I've written all the repeats down in the pattern that is linked below. And then you're going to knit 3 rows. That makes a garter border. Then the very first row of the pattern is going to be knit 3 and purl across and then knit 3. Again, we're maintaining a 3-stitch garter border on each side. So I've already done that. I've knit 3 on the wrong side. I knit 3, I purled across, and I knit 3. So now what I'm going to show you is now the first row of the pattern stitch itself. Now this is a 4-row repeat. We're just going to do the 4 rows until your square is as tall as you need it to be. And this, only 1 row is the pattern, and then the other rows are either knits or that knit 3 and purl across and knit. So here is our pattern. We're going to knit 3, and it's a really easy repeat to remember. I found that I memorized it pretty quickly and was able to do it without having to think about it too much. So we're going to knit 3, and now we're going to knit 2 together twice. So just like normal, knit 2 together, knit 2 together. All right, knit 3, knit 2 together twice, and now you're going to do yarn over, knit 1 4 times. So yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1. This is 3. The next time we do it, I'll show you English style, 4. And now we're going to knit 2 together twice again. And knit 2 together. And you're going to repeat that across until you just have 3 stitches left. So here I'm going to do knit 2 together twice. Knit 2 together. Yarn over, knit 1, oops, I split my stitch there. Yarn over, knit 1 4 times, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, and then knit 2 together twice. Knit 2 together 2 times. And now knit 3. I have 3 left at the end, so it's just knit 3. That is it for your pattern row. It's just the series of knit 2 togethers and yarn over, knit 1s as you go across. So the next row is we're just going to knit. This is a wrong side row. We don't have to worry about the 3 stitches on the end or anything like that. We're just knitting across because we end up with a garter border on our wave. Not a border, garter stitches right in the middle of our wave. So after you do that pattern row, you're just knitting. Feather and Fan is a really traditional lace pattern. I have a set of placemats at home that I made in Feather and Fan. Feather and Fan also look really nice on the front of a cardigan or a pillow or anything like that. It's just it's a simple pattern, but it really has a nice look to it. I think there are other names for it too, but whenever I see it, I just think of it as Feather and Fan. I think that's the traditional name. So I'm just knitting across on a wrong side row, and I've noted on your pattern which rows are right side and wrong side so that it'll help you to keep track as well. And now I'm going to knit a right side row. So what this is doing, you can kind of see those purl stitches starting to form over the yarn over holes. What this is doing, let me show you on my finished sample, is it's giving this garter ridge that's right in the middle of that wave. So you do your pattern row, then you knit a wrong side row all the way across, then you knit a right side row all the way across. So we'll do that. I will go ahead and pause the video and come back when I'm done. You don't need to watch me just knit across, do you? Okay, I've knit across, and now the next row is where we're going to knit the first 3. We're on the wrong side again. We're going to knit the first 3 to maintain that garter border on the right and left sides. And then we're going to purl until the last 3 stitches, and then we're going to knit the last 3 stitches. So purl. Again, I'm going to do this whole repeat again in English style as well, so that both Continental and English style knitters can see an example of how it looks. So we're just going to purl all the way to the end, the last 3, and then knit the last 3. And then we do our pattern row again. So it's just those 4 rows. You've got a couple of plain knit rows, right and wrong side. You've got this one row with the knit 3, purl across the middle and knit 3, and then you've got your pattern row. Those are the only 4 rows you need. So I think it's a fairly straightforward pattern. I think those of you that have enjoyed having some that are a bit of a challenge may enjoy just a little bit of a break on this one. It still produces a really lovely lace pattern without being too complex. I love learning new things, but sometimes I like to have a little bit of a break. So now I'm down to my last 3, so now I'm just going to knit the last 3, again to maintain that garter border. All right, and so now we're down to doing our pattern row again. So you can see it starting to form there. You see the garter ridge right above the eyelets, and they're kind of starting to do that little bit of a wave. All right, so pattern row. We're going to knit 3. Then we're going to knit 2 together twice. It's just going under the 2 stitches, knitting them just like normal. And now we're going to do 4 sets of yarn over, knit 1. So yarn over and knit 1. Yarn over and knit 1. There's 2. Yarn over and knit 1. There's 3. Yarn over and knit 1 is 4. And then we end that repeat off with 2 more knit 2 togethers. Now we start the repeat again. Knit 2 together twice. These are not my normal needles. They're not quite as pointy as I'm used to, so I'm fighting with stitches a little bit. All right, now 4 yarn over, knit 1. So yarn over, knit 1. Yarn over knit one. All I'm doing for that yarn over is bringing the yarn around the front and over the top of the needle again. And when I bring it back around and knit one, it makes that yarn over. That was 3, and yarn over knit one is 4. And then end it with 2 knit 2 togethers. You're going to do this all the way across, however many repeats you've done of the pattern, based on how many you decided to cast on. And now the last 3 stitches, I'm just going to knit 3. There we go. So the next row after our pattern row is just a knit row. We've got 2 knit rows after our pattern row, and the one with the 3 knits on the end and the purls. So we're just going to knit right across. So I am going to do a few more rows, and then I'm going to come back and show you how it looks, and then talk to you a little bit about how you're going to end it when you get to the height that you want it to be. Okay, here we go. So I finished another repeat. I'm at the point where I would do another pattern row, but you can kind of see the feather and fan waves starting to be formed across the fabric with those garter ridges in the middle of the wave. I really like the way it looks, and then the garter edges on the right and left side. This is still pulling up a little bit at the bottom, but those 3, you'll be knitting 3 rows of stockinette in there before you start your lace pattern, like I did here on my square. See this? I did this way on this little sample to illustrate for you how much more pronounced the wave is at the bottom if you don't have those rows of stockinette. So on your square, you'll want to follow the pattern and do the garter rows at the beginning, and then a couple rows of the stockinette that are indicated in the pattern, and then start your lace repeat. Now for my lace repeat, I did 12 repeats to get to the height that I wanted. You need to remember though that you're also going to have a few rows of stockinette and then a garter ridge up at the top. So you can measure your beginning set of stockinette and garter ridge and know that that's going to be how much space is going to be at the top of your square as well, so you can stop your repeats at the right place. This does block out pretty well because it's lacy, so you do need to block it definitely, but you can pull it out and block it a little bit. You just, as I always say, you don't want to block it within an inch of its life. So try to get it to close to the right size when you're knitting it, and then when you're blocking it, you'll just be pulling it out to stretch that lace and make it really pretty. As always, if you have any problems or questions, please let me know. You can email me or come into the shop anytime I'm open. I'm always happy to help. I've been really enjoying seeing everyone's blocks all year and can't wait to see the finished ones. I can't believe we're at November already. So there'll just be one more, and then we'll talk about putting them all together. Thanks for watching. Have fun.